Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this memorial gathering where we come to honor and celebrate the life of Fred Kelley. I'm Christopher New, and I welcome you to Southminster Steinhauer United Church, a place to be spiritual seekers united in community. As a community, every time we gather, we show respect and gratitude that we do so here on Treaty 6 land, honoring the traditions and indigenous peoples of this place. And knowing, too, that we are all welcome here. All ages, sizes, colors, genders, sexualities, traditions, and religions. I welcome all of you to this space today, to those of us in this room and to those of us who join by live stream. Welcome. We come to this place held together by threads between us, threads that are holding together all of our emotions, our grief, our sadness, our joy, and our hope. And as we each hold a piece of that thread for each other today, we're met with something sacred. The wonder of life, the mystery of its unfolding, the rhythms of light and dark, the circle of seasons, and the passage of life into death. As we come to hear memories of Fred today, born in Killam, Alberta, growing up on a farm, and then in Edmonton, where we will celebrate a farmer at heart, a truck driver, a dispatcher, a manager, a hard worker through his entire life. A Mr. Fix-It, a car enthusiast, a loving parent and grandparent, husband and partner, a generous and kind friend. And so as we honor and celebrate the gift of Fred's life today, we'll take time together to find comfort in our memories, to express and share our gratitude, to learn the legacy of his life, and to lean into the strength of who we are together as family, as friends. Indeed, death is the occasion that we gather here, but really life is the reason that we're here, to celebrate a life well lived, a life that has touched each person in this room. So it's in the spirit of this light and life that we light our memorial candle that's here among us today. As this light shines among us and its brightness moves between us and around us, we know that although death has come, the light of Fred's spirit has not been extinguished. It still ignites in us, it warms us, it lives on in and among us, and in the mystery of life that moves beyond us all. So let's lean into the warmth of this circle of sorrow and comfort to know that we're held together by one another's love and support. And we're kindling Fred's flame, knowing that it is burning among us and in each of us. And as we learn more about the legacy he leaves to us, we will kindle that flame to take it from here today. I invite us to gather with some words that we might share together. An opening prayer, a time to gather some intentions that we'll hold with each other as we are a community together today. I invite you either aloud or silently to join me in the words in front of you. In the ever-creating love and energy in which we live and die, we celebrate the gift of life and honor the mystery of death. We come with hearts broken open by love and loss into this community of grief and gratitude. As we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, may we move through sorrow towards celebration. Together may we find the courage to mourn and to celebrate, to laugh and to cry, to be alone with our thoughts, and lean into the community of care we create with each other. May we trust the circle of life as we are held in the truth that death does not have the last word, because love is what lasts forever. Amen. The family has chosen a few songs that we'll sing together today, and the first has a very familiar tune to those who have sung hymns and songs of faith together. Here, with some words you'll recognize and some newer words put together by Scott Kearns, we'll sing together, Then Sings My Soul. If you're able, I'll invite you to stand.
Good afternoon. My name is Rachel, and I am Fred's youngest daughter. My sister Linda and I would like to thank you all for coming tonight. Dad was many things to many people: a son, a brother, a father, a grandfather, and a friend. He was born on April 23rd, 1940, to Merlin and Lillian Kelley in Killam, Alberta. He was the oldest of 4 children. He has 2 sisters, Florence and Linda, and 1 brother, Doug. He spent his early years on the farm in Killam, growing up with cousins that he remained close to throughout his life. When they moved into Edmonton, he attended East Glen High School. His first job was working for Everall Construction in the late 1950s, and then he followed in Grandpa's footsteps and became a truck driver, working for Kingsway and for Rempel Trail. He did long hauls around the country. In 1964, he was introduced to Rita Rudkevich through her sister Betty's husband. In June 1965, they welcomed Linda to the world and were married a few months later in March 1966. In January 1977, I was born. They lived for many years on the north side, and then shortly after I was born, they moved to a house in what was then called Winterburn, now Atchison. They were married for 32 years until Rita's passing in November 1998. In 1980, he hung up the truck keys and he started working for Gibson Petroleum as a dispatcher. He worked for Gibson's for 23 years and was highly respected and admired. He was a mentor to many people and developed long-term and cherished friendships. He retired in 2004 as manager, asphalt, and NGL. Us kids really didn't know what that meant, but he loved his work and he excelled at it. Not one to be idle, he spent a few years working at Link Petroleum, and then as luck would have it, he finished his working career at E-Construction, formerly known as Everall Construction, where he started 50-plus years before. First, I'll share Linda's memories with you. Dad had a big heart and would give the shirt off his back if someone was in need. In 1976, shortly before I was born, my mom's sister Helen passed away, and her 2 children, David and Teresa, came to live with us. They went from a single child to 4 children in a matter of months, 3 teenagers and a newborn. Linda was overjoyed, a baby sister and her 2 favorite cousins living with them. Looking back with adult eyes, Linda can see how hard that must have been, yet Mom and Dad did what they always did, just soldier on. Over the years, we often had family members living with us when they needed a place to stay. Dad said they could stay as long as they didn't get comfortable enough to start putting up their wedding photos. Dad used to take Mom and Linda for Sunday drives. Unfortunately, Mom and Linda would both fall asleep within 10 minutes of leaving the house, and so Dad would just end up driving around the city listening to them sleep. There were a lot of barbecues at the Atchison house. Mom and Dad enjoyed entertaining, and Dad would bring co-workers from Gibson's or other friends over to come play pool, have a barbecue, and generally just have a good time. When Linda and Daryl got married in 1992, Dad would spend most Sundays golfing with Daryl and his brother Howard. Linda and Daryl were busy running the golf course, so after Sabrina was born, Fred would be sent to pick up Sabrina on Friday after work, and Sabrina would come spend the weekend with Grandma and Grandpa, and then they would bring her home on Sunday in time to go golfing. Dad always bought quality items. He would spend a little bit more on something if he thought it was better quality. A month after Mom passed away, Dad went to Christmas shopping for Sabrina and Kurt with Linda. They went to Toys R Us, as Linda thought Dad could buy a little sofa and chair set for the kids' playroom. There were 2 sets, foam sofas and chairs to choose from. There's Fred, pushing on the foam to check for firmness, trying to figure out what could possibly explain the price difference between the 2 sets. Linda informed Dad that the only difference was one had Disney print and the other one didn't, and that the cheaper one would definitely be enough. For myself, I have wonderful memories of growing up with Dad. He taught me how to golf, catch and throw a baseball, ride a horse, how to drive, and so many other important life lessons. Some of my most favorite memories were going to the dump on Saturday mornings with Dad and Uncle Mike, my mom's brother. Dad would unload the truck, and Mike would reload it with treasures he had found. I'm not sure what Dad thought of that, but I'm pretty sure he figured that defeated the purpose of going in the first place. Another memory was going on weekends to the Gibson shop with him. He would be checking in on unit repairs and with the dispatch group, and I was instructed to sit in the lunchroom and wait. The drivers would come and ply me with candy and pop, and generally just, entertain 6-year-old me. The smell of fresh asphalt is still a comforting scent to me 40 years later. When I shared that story with my sister, she laughed, and she said at least it was just pop and candy. When she went with Dad as a youngster to wash his truck, she snuck sips of beer out of the beer bottles when Dad wasn't looking and came home slightly inebriated. For those of you who knew our mom, you can imagine her displeasure at her 5-year-old coming home drunk. Dad had his hip replaced in 2008, and my husband and Sean and I moved in to help him with the house as he couldn't do the stairs. So during these years, I discovered how funny he was. He had a quick wit and had so many stories, I really wish I had written them all down. He was meticulous about 3 things: his car, his shoes, and cutting the grass. Every Saturday, he would wash and detail his car. He complained about his last car being black because it was so hard to keep clean, but here he was, faithfully washing, waxing, and polishing it until it gleamed. I was always actually afraid to borrow his car because I was scared to get it dirty. I would never, ever get it Fred clean. Below the flowers here, you'll see some of Dad's shoes in his polishing kit. He had more shoes than anyone I have ever known, and he knew where and when he had bought every single pair. One day I was helping him clear out some of the older pairs that he never wore. Every pair he had a story for. Oh, those ones, actually these ones. I bought those in 1965. They're really good shoes. Let's keep them. They're comfortable. On Sunday nights, he would pull all those shoes out of the closet and polish every one. When he worked at deconstruction before his final retirement, he was manning the weigh scale, so there's long intervals of very little to do. So to kill time, he'd take a few pairs of shoes with him to polish in between trucks. He also loved to cut the grass at home. I think it was the farmer in him. He loved riding that little tractor around the yard. We learned that come spring, we were not to cut the grass until he came home from Thailand. We didn't want to deprive him of his fun. Speaking of Thailand, Dad started going there in 2009. He found it a lovely place, although the first couple of trips had a bit of a learning curve. It's hot and humid, and the first year he came back early with sunstroke. He said he learned his lesson and that if the Thai people were inside out of the heat, then, and these are his words, his dumb ass should be inside too. As the years went by, it became apparent that he had met someone over there and that once again he had found love. Her name is Pen, and along with her son, Boy, the 3 of them made a happy family. Dad was considered an elder and was highly respected by the people there. He had made a second home, and every year he couldn't wait to go back. His loss leaves a hole for his second family, and my heart goes out to them. Boy is 19 and recently started university in Thailand studying pharmacy, and he sent us this message to read. Thank you for all of your support to me. I can study at the Faculty of Pharmacy because of all your support. I couldn't have done it without you. When I am down, you are always there to encourage me. I will study hard as you hope, and I will not make you disappointed. I will do my best to take care of Mom. You will always be in my heart forever. May the peace that comes from the memories of love shared comfort you now, and in the days ahead, may your heart and soul find peace and comfort. Rest in peace, Uncle Fred. Pen sent us these words. Darling, I and Boy have to say thank you for everything that you did for us for over 10 years. You are a very good man and the most kind I have ever seen. I am so lucky to have you. Now I will only have good memories to think of. You're in my soul. I only want to give you a big hug and many, many kisses. I love you and I miss you so much, darling. In summary, Dad was kind and generous. He wasn't big on words or emotions, but his actions spoke volumes. Every single one of us knew without a doubt that he loved us, whether he said it or not. We will all miss him dearly.
Hi, everyone. A stone ceremony is an opportunity to link our thoughts and feelings and memories of Fred and the times we had with him, the things he taught us, and the qualities in him we really want to hold on to and remember to a physical object. I picked the citrine stones that are around his urn because they are, for a few reasons, but the first is immediately when I saw them, I remembered how blonde his hair was. Even as he got older, he never seemed to go white. He was always blonde. And then the second reason is because citrine's a stone of imagination, personal will, energy, and pursuing dreams. And I think my grandpa really embodied all of those things. When I think of Grandpa, I knew him as someone who was always solid, always seemed to know what he wanted and would go get it himself, to the extent that he was impossible to buy Christmas gifts for because he had everything he wanted, and anything he needed he went and got himself. So what were you supposed to do in December? You can only buy so many World's Best Grandpa mugs. I think about how he always seemed so unflappable when things were going wrong, because many things have gone wrong and many things have gone right, and none of that seemed to ever shake him. So at the end of this little ceremony, we're going to invite you to walk in front of the urn, pick up a stone, and I don't know what your process is. If you pray, if you want to say a prayer, you want to say something to him, like meditate, whatever your process is. I can't read. Take a stone and hold it and reflect. Do whatever you need to do, and then keep that stone with you as a reminder for when you need it, and it's yours to keep and carry with you. Yeah. Thanks.
I want to share what at first might seem like a strange reading to share, but I get the sense clearly that Fred had a heart for the land upon which he was born and spent early years, and perhaps the land that really never left his heart. A person who lived his entire life from the time he came into Edmonton in Edmonton, a place that he called home. This was home. And so I read to you a poem by John Clare called All Nature Has a Feeling. All nature has a feeling. Woods, fields, brooks, they are all life eternal. And in silence they speak happiness beyond the reach of books. There's nothing mortal in them. Their decay is the green life of change, to pass away and come again in blooms revivified. Its birth was heaven, eternal in its stay, and with the sun and moon shall still abide, beneath their day and night, and heaven wide. In that greening, in that sense that land has never really died, but is always in a state of being reborn and regreening, we share what is true in that reading, and we share what is true now in the many, many pictures that have been lovingly put together. Pictures that give tribute and show the significance of Fred's life and his connection to all of us.
Trailers for sale or rent, rooms to let 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. Ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of pushing broom buys an 8, 12, 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road. Third box don't pay no union dues. I smoke old stogies I have found. Short, but not too big around. I'm a man of means by no means. King of the road. I know every engineer on every train. All their children, all of their names. And every handout in every town. If we're locked, it ain't locked when no one's around. I sing trailers for sale or rent. Rooms to let 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes. But 2 hours of pushing moonrise and 8 by 12 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means by no means. King of the road. Trailers for sale or rent. Rooms to let 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes. But 2 hours of pushing broom buys and 8.
I have seen all I care to see of this world. It has no more for me. I need the calm, forgiving peace that only comes from my family. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I'm following the lead of the setting sun, and I'm going back where I came from. Like an old oak tree that no longer grows. As time went by, I got hollow. If you don't know when to stay, if you don't know when to go, then you might be building your own gallows. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I'm following the lead of the setting sun, and I'm going back where I came from. Mama's on the front porch waving for me. My father's got his hands fixing something. My brother says that he's just glad to see my face. That's why I'm going on home. I'm going home. I'm following the lead of the setting sun, and I'm going back where I came from. That's why I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm following the lead of the setting sun, and I'm going back where I came from. And I'm going back where I came from. Looking back on the memory of the dance we shared beneath the stars above, For a moment, all the world was right. How could I have known that you'd ever say goodbye? And now I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end, the way it all would go. Our lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance. Holding you, I held everything. For a moment, wasn't I the king? But if I'd only known how the king would fall, hey, who's to say? You know I might have changed it all. And now I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end, the way it all would go. Our lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance. It's my life, it's better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They learn much more than I never knew. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Ooh, yeah.
I'll just speak a few words about, about this life and our connection to it all. If the poet is right from our reading a little bit earlier, and nature has a feeling that woods and fields and brooks are life eternal, and in silence they speak happiness beyond the reach of books. It speaks of a silent connection and a quiet strength. And I think this is something that Fred would have understood. He was described as the strong and silent type, sharing his love not so much in words but in his actions. When a person doesn't worry about the small things in life, when a person can persevere through the ups and downs, be level-headed, calm, and sure of heart, these are the things that connect us to all of creation. They connect us to the land. That doesn't freak out at a storm, that weathers it, adapts, keeps on growing. Sometimes it has a little healing and mending to do along the way, but then finds its right again, its equilibrium, and keeps moving. These are qualities that didn't, for Fred, need a parade to achieve. They were simply a part of who he was. To be quiet in the background so that you always just knew he was there and what was important to him, that he was present and could be depended upon. In that continuous, faithful growth and presence. There's a bit more poetry that speaks of this kind of constancy, and I want to share a few lines of it. Listen to the words of the ancient poet in the song that we know as Psalm 23, probably the most famous one. Here's a paraphrase, though, that helps us, I think, understand it quite well. In the sacredness of this pasture, our beloved earth, I have everything I need. I make my home in the field of all creation. Beside still waters and rushing seas, I'm restored. Even when the wind blows wildly and life is terribly turbulent, I'm not beyond comfort because I am never alone. The hum of creation companions me. To be a man who grew up on a farm, lived in Edmonton, and then drove trucks for some of his career, this was a guy who saw land probably whizzing by at speed, but who was, I think, always connected to it. You don't have to be religious or spiritual to understand that in our connection to the earth, whether we're born on it, whether we spend our time cultivating it or working it in a garden, or whether we can just enjoy a beautiful view now and then. We cultivate our lives with care in that same way. We don't take more than we need. We leave the ground fertile for those who come after us. And in it all, we look after each other. We're never alone in this kind of ecological economy. After all, calm comes after the storm. After life comes death. After death comes some kind of new greening. There is restoring energy in all of it. So what gratitude can we share for a life that brought that simplicity and integrity and quiet generosity and encouragement to life? Close to where he was planted, but a guy who saw the land, who saw many places, and who later in life came to appreciate a different home. A home for part of the year that was very different than this one that he knew all the rest of his life. New land. So whether it was close where he was planted in his family, in his work life, in the loves of his life, or where he found himself transplanted in the home he made in Thailand, in the new experiences that he came to have and the new loves that he formed. This is the green life of change. To pass away, as the poet said, and come back in blooms revivified, to come back in blooms that keep showing up spring after spring. This is what it is to understand the land and the hum of creation. It's to know that life and death are a ceaseless cycle that draws us closer to gratitude each day. For gratitude for the love we've known, and to know that in this cycle we're never forgotten or alone. Because love lasts forever. And so the light of Fred's life continues to shine in us, through us, and in the world, and we're grateful for it. For the connection to the land and all the ways he showed us that quiet, simple, active love. We give thanks and we celebrate his light. So we'll take some time now to pause and speak and feel the significance of this life that we honor today. We offer our prayers of gratitude. We come to this day knowing our connection to life, the earth as our cradle, the stars and sky our blanket, the creatures of land and sea and air our siblings. And as we affirm that there is sacredness in all things and all people, we center ourselves in this presence, embracing our joy for Fred's life, his gifts, and his very being. These are our prayers of gratitude. We pray them with full hearts, thankful for the life that we celebrate in Fred, for the love he shared in his role as husband, brother, son, uncle, father, grandfather, partner, and friend. For his encouraging spirit and his desire to help, his quiet guidance, and his generous spirit. For the way he showed his love in his actions, in his time. For his commitment to hard work. For all the things he loved. For who he was and how he lived. And for all that made him unforgettable in the hearts and minds of all who knew him, we are filled with gratitude. May our prayers be expressions, too, of our care for his family, for Linda and Daryl, for Rachel and Sean, Sabrina and Kurt, his brother Doug and Terry, his two sisters Linda and Florence, and many nieces and nephews and cousins. We too care and share comfort with his companion pen and his many friends, all who have been touched by his life and are now grieved by his death. We celebrate the miracle of life with gratitude and humility. We have the chance to live and to love and be loved. And so may the hope that we find in all of our loves, in this gathered community and in the faith that we hold, may it all encourage us in the work of our grief. And may the peace that passes all understanding find home in us and through us, always. May it be so. Amen. Just before we close today, I'll, on behalf of the family and those of us here at SSUC, we thank you for being present with us here and online today. On behalf of the family, we'd like to invite you to stay for a reception, continue to share stories and connection with each other. At the conclusion of our time together, we'll invite you to follow the family out of the room You're welcome to be in the foyer or at the back here, while a number of us will transform this space into tables and chairs and provide a place for us to sit and enjoy each other's company. The food, this is an important piece. The food you will find in a hall that is just out in the foyer, down the hall, and you'll see another hall where the food will be laid out for us to help ourselves, and then bring it back here to enjoy with each other. So a few steps in the process, but we'll all make our way and have a good afternoon of food and refreshments. I'll invite us to move to the next slide, please, and we will share in some words of closing. I'll invite you to speak the words you see in yellow as I share the words in white, as we affirm our hope with each other. All our laughter, all our sadness, safe now in the undying light of love. All our stories and all our memories, safe now in the undying light of love. The one we remember, the ones we love, safe now in the undying light of love. And so now our time comes to a close with each other, and we'll seek to find new ways for Fred's light to shine. We will experience that light of his legacy of love, of connection, of quiet fortitude, in new ways now. We will experience it in words that we heard him speak, in the laughter that we share, in the smell on the breeze or the wind in our hair, some of us. We will experience his light and legacy now in new ways. Although we'll continue to grieve, we'll recognize that Fred, his light, his importance, and his legacy remain around us, within us, and beyond us. And so we go in peace, and in the presence of the light and love and all that is sacred in us and around us, in the peace that is ours always. May we go with that and in light always. Amen.
Shall cross the barren desert, but you shall not die of thirst. You shall wander far in safety, though you do not know the way. You shall speak your words in foreign lands, and all will understand. You shall see the face of God and live. Be not afraid. I go before you always. Come, follow me, and I will give see.